Tell me, out of curiosity, what's the longest client you've had? Longest standing client you've had?
From 1974.
Oh, wow.
Till today. In fact, today in the
Part
office
of the 1 million.
yeah.
Truth be told, Charlene,
Yes.
Kenyan Indian families are very rich.
Masonko.
Kabisa.
And truth be told, Mali, Kenyan Indian families have perfected the art of passing on generational wealth and businesses down to the different generations. And today on the TBT podcast, we have a third generation insurance broker, Mishaal Shah of Richlands Insurance Brokers, one of the largest and most trusted insurance brokers in the 254. So let's allow Mishaal to introduce himself to our viewers.
Karibu rich Kenyan Indian.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Good to be here. Thank you for that introduction. Wow.
Karibu.
And the perception that we are rich. We'll take it.
Yes.
Is it true?
Who knows?
But Senakar,
just leave us guessing.
You really look the part.
Karibu, Mishaal.
Thank you.
You can maybe just, for the sake of our audience, just give us a short introduction of yourself.
Sure. As Charlene, you said, my name is Mishaal. I work at Richlands Insurance Brokers Limited. It's a family business. I'm now, myself and my cousin, we are the third generation in the business.
Oh, wow.
A broking house that was started in 1974.
Wow.
So we're actually 50 this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So been back and sort of taking over as we speak, and getting my feet further under the desk. What else? Yeah, before that I was in I studied in Kenya, in Nairobi, my schooling, and then I went for university to Canada, to Toronto. I was there. I did my undergrad, I did my risk management certification there. I worked there for a couple of years. And then it was time to come back home.
Yes.
To the family business.
Yes.
The calling.
I think, and that's where to start. What's this thing about the Kenyan Indian families with their businesses where you would come? Is it a natural thing for you to come and just continue with the family business? Is it a law? Is it a rule? What is it?
I wouldn't say it's not a law, it's not a rule.
Yeah.
Overall speaking, yes, it is quite common. Well, it was much more common the generation before compared to now, but it's still there. And the idea is mainly where, a lot of the family businesses that Indians have generally are with some extended family. They've over time, especially one generation, they've grown quite large.
Yeah.
So they need, all of a sudden, it's no more a mom and pop shop.
No.
Yeah, it's one man show, can't work. They need people to come. And it's lasted so long that now the person who was running it is getting older.
Yeah.
So you need to bring in someone new.
Yes.
So it's common. Much more, as I said, in the generation before.
Yeah.
Now it's getting less common, but still rife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
How is it that they were able to convince? And on this show, we've talked about succession planning, estate planning. How is it that they successfully and mostly you would see businesses and you'd go to an Indian shop and you find the children are there, the cousins, the relatives, everyone is there. How is it? Is it from the raising or the culture that you have, that you're able to give this knowledge and impart the skills to the generations as they come?
Yeah. A lot of our upbringing is extremely family oriented.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Number one. Number two, we generally look at ourselves a little bit more communal. Okay. Where resources are gathered together, right? So if we are in a family business, we are all doing our part. You're good in marketing, you will handle that part.
Yeah.
You're good in finance, you will do that. I'll be the one to run the shop. Yeah, generally speaking. So there's always those kinds of divisions where everyone is doing their part.
Yeah.
So, and generally when you start something together and you grow together, then that togetherness stays, but especially between those of you who have started it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. But generally, to answer your question, we are quite communal, as I said.
Yeah.
So I think that is what helps the situation in a lot of Indian family businesses, being family businesses and sticking to being family businesses.
Okay.
And Mishaal, did you grow up knowing that you were going to do insurance? I mean, you've told us you studied locally, you went to Canada, you even did your risk management papers. Like, did you know from when you were a young kid? Because insurance is really looked upon as, many of us grew up saying, I'll become a doctor, a pilot, something. Did you grow up saying, I will become an insurance agent, a broker? Was that it?
I'd say from maybe after I was finishing up towards the end of my high school, earlier junior high, is when the serious conversations, so to speak, with my dad and grandfather were had. And that's where sort of they kind of told me that you should, join this family business one day.
Yeah.
Yes.
But before that as well, I was, every time during holidays here and there, I'll go to the office for a little bit here. So I was always accustomed to that environment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, not working properly, just going and, in fact, maybe doing more damage in the office than actually working.
Yes.
But I was going to the office. So I think what that did is it sort of put something in me that, this is the office and this is the office space and all that. So eventually when the decision, forget even when I was going for universities, when sort of I knew that I'm going there to do whatever I want to do, study whatever it is I'm going to study.
Yes.
Eventually.
You'll be back.
Yeah, I'll come back.
Yes.
So with that in mind, of course, I had to make sure I don't make foolish decisions. Go and study something that may not really help me here, try and think I'm on holiday over there, because then you'll come back and all of a sudden life will hit you hard.
Yes.
So it was, in a way, it was good because I knew what my sort of end goal was, right? So you're always working, you're making decisions sort of pole towards that, with that in mind. So that helped. But yeah, so when I went for university, by the time I went for university, I knew I'm coming back. When was a bit of a question.
Yes.
But coming back, for sure.
Okay.
So then, I know you alluded to it a bit. Your family, this particular business, the insurance business, has been there since 1974.
74, yeah.
So maybe you can walk us through like how your family came towards setting up an insurance business in Kenya, and through and through to what it is now.
Yeah. So it was started in 1974 by my grandfather. It was called Richlands Insurance Agencies.
Okay.
Started off in 1974. They used to work with Provincial Assurance Company or Insurance Company, I'm not sure the name, which was formerly UAP, which is now Old Mutual.
Yeah.
So working for one company as an agent, I think the first year the premium was somewhere like 1 million shillings or something.
Wow. In 1974.
Yes.
Yeah.
1 million bob.
Big timers.
And I think there was only one claim the whole year. And sort of that grew. And then later on, my uncle for a short time had joined. My dad's elder brother joined. And then my dad also joined.
Yeah.
And then I would say probably in the 90s or so is when now it started, sort of looking upwards. And then of course, my dad came back. In the 1990s. He was living abroad, so he came back and joined the family business. So again, the same thing. New blood had come.
Yeah.
There's more manpower. You're able to be a bit more, you're able to take a bit more risk, be a bit more out there. There's more to do.
Yeah.
And then that's how the business grew. And now we're here in 2024. We're myself, my cousin, and myself are now that generation.
Okay. In terms of the clientele, so from that time, is it just that it was selling to the Kenyan Indian community, or it was exposed to other people?
No, it was exposed to a number of other people. Yeah, because at that time in '74, we were still the Indian community was still growing.
Yeah,
it was still not even what it is
now. Yeah.
Now. So it was a decent mix we had. And I know there was a point in time, a lot of matatus, believe it or not, in some of these areas of Githunguri and that area, a lot of them were insured through us.
Wow.
And it only happened to be because I think we had got one of the guys there who was insuring it, his own car.
Yeah.
And he probably was one of those guys, the few guys who in that small village or those towns who everyone listened to. So when everyone wanted insurance, he told them, Enda, koyo muindi.
Yes.
Wow.
So there was a point in time, I never knew this. My dad was telling me this recently, that there was a point in time where in some of those small towns in central Kenya, it was probably a big percentage, I don't know what it would be, but a very large percentage, more than majority, were insured through us.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how has it been able to last? How have you been able to sustain that through that time? Because I know companies come and go.
Yes.
And we've talked about here on this table how insurance penetration in this country is still an issue. We are still trying to get that. But you've been able to sustain an insurance business for almost 50 years now.
And keep your doors open
Yeah.
and remain profitable and retain, because when I look at the other players within the insurance industry, especially Indian-owned brokerages and agencies, there's that feeling of you are able to really even retain your clientele. You're not only starting afresh every January and trying to bring on board other clients. So in addition to what Mali is asking, how have you been able, to remain profitable and also just retain your clients?
Yeah. So I think on the side of the longevity and sort of the succession, it comes down to, I think, first of all, your values and ethics as a business person, whether it's insurance or this a real estate person, someone who has a shop, a factory, whatever it is, right? If your business sort of, you're running it ethically, right? The right decisions, then that over time will pay off. You might not get rich overnight.
Yes.
Because you're not going to get some shady deals and you're not going to, pull up people with something that should not have happened. But over time, people will remember you, right? They'll see you're an individual and this is a business of integrity, right? They can count on you. And in insurance, what does it come down to? The fact that your client will feel that when there's a problem, they can count on you. Yeah. Because what are we doing? We're only selling a promise. Yeah. We cannot prove it at the time of sale. Whether we will tell them. Whether we'll honor what we're telling them.
It's only when that accident happens or when you're in hospital.
Whatever it is. Exactly. So the first thing is, that sort of a scenario of integrity and all that. And I remember as growing up, whenever I used to come to the office from school and stuff like that, that's one thing my grandfather always told me. That we don't want to become rich or very rich overnight. Just let's do the right thing. Make sure if you have to pay a claim, pay a claim. If you're charging someone a premium of X amount, charge that. Don't try and now find an additional way of this fee and that fee and all those funny things that people can do. And that sort of stuck with me. That's the same way my dad ran the business. So when we joined, we found him doing it that way. So our staff even work the same way. They don't find a way, of finding any extra 5, 10, 15, 20% from anyone just for the sake of it. So it became easy in that sense. When you're coming into a well-shaped business. And now looking at it, it pays back tenfold, right? Because you can go into any office or any conversation or any social setting and knowing that you don't have to look behind your back and wonder who is here and what if am I able to be confident in front of you, and then wondering what Charlene might think of me or what she has heard of me, those kinds of things. And then you're making decisions much more clearly when it comes to your client, right? Because you're not worried about what you must have told this person 2 years ago. So that's something that I feel that it works. So it helps on a day-to-day basis. So answering your question, once your habits are formed in the right way, then you will continuously do the right thing for people. So then your client will feel that confidence in you, right? And for us, the simple thing is client is king. Yeah. So when a client has an issue, we sort it out. We don't look at it how it might come down sometime in insurance. Okay, fine. Kwanza, let's look for which clauses we can
used to counter
screw this person over. Sorry, I shouldn't be using that. Get one over this person.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not about that. The fact is, okay, claim has happened. That's the material fact. How are we going to make sure that this client gets paid?
Yes.
Yeah? Allow me to quote something that I remember we had discussed a couple of years ago. We went for lunch. I don't know if you remember. Myself, you, and one of your colleagues where you used to work. And she asked me, Mishaal, what do you want as a broker? All these other brokers come, budget, this and that. I told her I don't want anything. I don't know if you remember. I told her I don't want anything. All I want you to do, if there's a certain budget that you had kept for marketing on Richlands, keep it aside. There'll be certain claims which will not be payable for my clients. Use it from them.
Wow.
Because ideally, that's at the end of the day, that's what I'm going to be able to sell.
Yes.
And that's the confidence that I want, and we want our clients to have with us, right? And then what happens is, then over time they get used to it. Your clients get used to it, and then it's more of second nature. That okay, fine, insurance. There's only one place to go to. We don't think of quotations and certain things like that.
And I'm so happy our audience gets to see this firsthand, Mishaal, because sometimes insurance brokers and agents, we get a very bad rap in Kenya, But it's good for people to see that this is actually the face of insurance in our country. I'm so happy to hear of the guiding sort of like principles for Richlands as a brokerage company. So now you're in good hands, guys, honestly. I think I spend so much time, even on social media, Mishaal, trying just to tell Kenyans in general that the insurance landscape is changing. You finally have people who have a genuine concern for clients, and they want to ensure that the promise that they have sold is finally met when it's time, for that promise to be fulfilled. So it's really lovely having you on the show.
Thank you. And it shows, that insurance is not that final, option. I think what you had said initially once, remember that someone has started off trying to be a lawyer, a doctor, this, that.
Now you come to insurance.
It's not the case, right? People are actually going to school and learning about it and trying to make sure that they're being professional when they're being in insurance, whether it's on the underwriting side or on the client-facing side.
Our whole family has been built on insurance. 3 generations in have been built on insurance. So it's not just something unaangukia. It can be planned. From being a sales person, and I think we want to speak to those as well, Charlene. And we started by saying this that as much as we are creating awareness to the clients, we're also creating awareness to people who would want to get into this industry and sell insurance and be a participant in creating this phenomenon to another level.
And Mishaal, so is your granddad still actively involved in the business?
No. He unfortunately passed away in 2019, which is what fast-tracked my move back to Kenya.
Okay.
Because at that point then my dad was, of course, the only one handling the business.
Yes.
And at the time of when you have a certain scenario like that in life, you tend to be very, very risk averse. It's just natural human instinct. So my dad was a bit worried that if something was to happen to him, then this business will be literally
done.
Yeah, because it's a very relationship-based business. So the office will be there, yes. The transactional part will be there, but then who will be there to take care of the relationships, which is the most important part for us.
Yes.
So he was a bit pushy in that sense, and I understood why. So it was never a point of us disagreeing.
Yeah.
I asked him to give me a bit of time, which he did.
Yeah.
And then eventually I came back home. So it was never, we never had an argument or a disagreement that, oh, Dad, but I told you I'll come back this, and then, all that, none of that. Yeah. Okay. So it was good.
Tell me, out of curiosity, what's the longest client you've had? Longest standing client you've had?
From 1974.
Oh, wow.
Till today. In fact, today in the
Part
office
of the 1 million.
yeah. In fact, funny enough, today in the office, there was a certain client who had come to collect his motor vehicle insurance. Okay, must be expired in a couple of days. Nimze, he has come with his stick.
Yes.
And he just luckily happened to bump into my dad at the entrance of our office.
Yeah.
And so, of course, my dad was, helping him, talking to him, finding out, how you doing.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know this. And one of our staff was attending to this client. My dad told him that, we know this client since 1974.
Oh, wow.
So we have clients that are with us since day one.
How do you do that? And because when I asked the question, I didn't expect to be from
I know, 50 years in.
How do you sustain that? And I know you talked about the value system, integrity and all. And not just from a Richlands perspective, because I'm assuming that stems from your grandfather, your father, yourself. So that means there's a character and there's a value that has been passed on for some time. From this table, Charlene, I know in our previous episode, we talked about creating a mission, a constitution for your family. And I think for me, I'm hearing this is one of those examples. How did you achieve that?
So, it's all about the value system, right? It's all about the value system. The words are important, right? So the guiding the words of guidance from grandfather, from Zay, those are the things that will keep you on track, yes, and will be sort of reference points in your mind. But more importantly is, guiding and leading by example. Now if here I am being told that you have to lead an honest life and, be a man of integrity and, ethically straight and astute. And then on the other side, I'm seeing that, we are, doing all sorts of things that you can do in insurance. Then where is 1 + 1?
Yeah.
So at one point, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? So if my father is a thief, I'll become a thief, right?
True.
In that sense. Yeah. So I think the most important thing is the fact that these values are told to you, but you can see them.
Yes, it's practical.
And I remember even when I was young and stuff, I hardly ever had a point in time where my grandfather would get upset at us. He'll tell you, I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah.
And this is why.
Yeah.
And just that fact that he has told you he's disappointed in you, it hurts you so much more than if he came and shouted you for 10 minutes. Because you know, and you can see that this is the way this man expects all of us to lead our lives.
Yeah.
And the same thing with my dad, right? Where when we're in business and we're doing things, there's never a point in time where we're actually even having discussions that should we do the right thing or should we not do the right thing?
Yeah.
It's more of the case where what is more of the right thing?
Yeah.
There can be times in our industry where you're not sure whether we should do it this way or this way. So you err towards the side of caution and one that that there's less of a chance for the client to have a problem here.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to that, your value system and the fact that you're living by it on a day-to-day basis. So it becomes life at the end of the day. You're not having to wake up every morning and remember that these are the things I have to do. It's just part of, you wake up and you brush your teeth like normal.
So is this, sorry, Shirley.
And really, having a client who's been with you for 50 years, not going even 50 plus. Another key part of businesses is the manpower. Okay? And I'm keen to know, Mishaal, the longest serving colleague that you have at Richlands. I know that will also probably blow our minds away.
I think it's 35 years, if I'm not wrong.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I think the average in our office is at least about 10 to 15 years.
Average.
Oh, wow.
The average, yeah. We don't
So
have...
you not only maintain your clients, you also maintain your staff.
Yeah.
Yes, because you need that institutional memory for yourself.
You know, there are certain... Sorry, continue.
Yes. No.
I'm saying there are certain employees in my office who saw me as a baby.
Coming in to destroy things in the office.
Exactly. Some of them used to come to pick me from school.
Oh.
Yeah. And now we work together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's sort of, the longevity that we've had with our staff as well. And many of them, even now, our clients don't even talk to us. They finish with them.
Yes.
They know Richlands ni huyu.
Yes.
You know, and they're served, because, and these are honorable people as well who understand that, and they've seen the growth of the company, right?
Yeah.
And they've been part of it. So they have a sense of belonging in it as well. So they're very honorable people and they feel a sense of ownership in it. So their service levels are also to a decent level.
Nice.
You
I
know?
want to ask, and probably a different tangent, is from an Kenyan Indian community perspective, is insurance a thing? Is it that they value insurance more than we think of insurance? That's the other Kenyans, and is it something from India? It's a culture, or is it something that we are also learning and battling with?
So I wouldn't say, especially maybe a bit back in the day, we never sort of valued insurance as maybe when we do it now. But one thing initially I remember was very, very highly valued was life insurance.
Wow.
So the minute a man, and I'm saying a man because back in the day women hardly worked. A minute a man and the breadwinner of the house is sort of stable and now things are looking okay, it's time to get a life insurance policy.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was a very big thing. And that's how I think that's initially where the insurance penetration for Kenyan Indians came from, because they understood the importance of insurance through life insurance.
Yes.
And because someone understood something, you can be able to cross-sell and explain to them that, okay, fine, while you're insuring your life, you've now got your business and your stocks and your this, you should insure that.
Yeah.
Some of them, unfortunately, would have had claims at the time and, died. And the families will see, this person has gotten paid and, a decent amount that's taking care of the family. Then they would even tell other people, as usual. So initially was a lot to do with life insurances where a lot of us were into. Now, you see, on average, we are a bit more educated. On average, people in my generation have gone to a higher level of education than maybe a local Kenyan, right? And because of that, you tend to understand the importance of insurance and how to secure your risk, right? So now people are taking it. But now I see there's a bit of a change, especially with our generation, this microwave generation. They don't want to pay. Now they don't want things to do with life insurance.
Long-term payments.
You're telling me something about 30 years. Boss. Give me a 5-year plan where I can double my money.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yes.
So now I see that. So on the life side, things would have, on average, slowed down because of that. Because a lot of people, why would I want to pay for insurance or for a life cover? I'm not going to be there. I'll use the money myself.
Okay.
But I still, in adding to that, Mishaal, I must tell you that some of the, if I may call them easiest life insurance sales that I have been able to do, have been to Indian gentlemen. And there was one living in Eldoret. That young man at 25 reaches out, asks for a quote. He calls me the next day. only has 2 questions, clarification. He had read the terms and conditions end to end.
Yeah.
Asks his 2 questions, then he's like, so how do I sign up? And he did his paperwork.
Quickly.
And you could hear even the way he was rationalizing it. He's like, okay, now I can only start with 10K. I will build it over time. And it just felt so seamless. And on the other side of the spectrum, for example, if I come across, like, say, a wealthy Asian businessman who's seeing the value of having such, maybe key man protection, but at the same time having family protection, just... he'll get into a call, he'll tell you, Charlene, I don't have much time, 30 minutes, let's discuss this. He will come prepared with his questions, Then after that, he'll say, send me quotes, maybe 100M, send me 500M so that I can see where do I fall in between there. And after that, for them, because one of the things that still makes me sometimes so sad and stressed, especially on social media, Mishaal, sometimes I get a lot of heat, You put up a post on, life insurance, and the first thing you find the commenters saying is, life insurance is a scam. Do you get? Or you find, people saying, other than motor insurance and medical insurance, these others are just... Do you get? So sometimes having those conversations and really feeling that the Kenyan Indian community really understands this. They understand the value. They have that sense of responsibility that once I get my family, I need to have some element of, just income protection, and something that would ensure that, God forbid, if I'm not there, my family is not left exposed. I think that is something really commendable about.
No, I agree with that. So even when I say this, when I say that it's a bit less, I don't mean that it's gone. Yeah. It's still probably much higher than the average.
Yes.
Kenyan, absolutely. But if I was to compare, right, it's lower. But that's also, as you said, number one, as I said, because of some people are not, some of our generation people don't understand the importance of this or don't feel the value of it. And the other thing is also now many families are not as worried that if the main breadwinner goes, we are gone. Because there's a whole generation for many families of wealth that they have been able to gather and save. So it's not as important in that sense, as opposed to 50 years ago, if the main guy goes, then the family unfortunately are left high and dry.
Okay. Yeah. And so what are the alternatives? If you can feel a shift, say from, the need for life insurance, what are these 5-year solutions that,
Yeah, so, a lot of people now are looking at, a lot of their investment side of things, So how do I have this 10 million shillings that I have been given to start off my life. Where can I...
I want to be that.
I know. Do you mean you're being given 10M to start off your life? Because, oh my
Must
Lord.
be nice, huh?
Must be nice. Oh.
For example, or whatever they're given.
Okay.
And they want to now put it and invest it somewhere.
Yes.
They don't want to invest it for 30 years because they will find, in 5 years, I want to buy something, I want to do this, I want to do that, I need the money.
Yes.
So a lot of people are going into that whole thing of, investing something where the money is growing, but they're able to be it's liquid enough for them to have access to it if they need. So that's where I see a lot of it is going. And then a lot of it, people are not entirely getting into life insurance or stuff like that. So I think it's more on the investment side, I see. And then business insurance.
Please give us specifics, Mishaal. Please. So you've gotten 10M.
Yeah.
How are you distributing this? What asset classes are you going into? Is it shares? Is it bonds?
Yeah. So, of course, we as an insurance broker, I would not be able to directly invest in some of those. Yeah. So what we'll do is, we'll sit down with the client, okay? And first of all, understand their need, okay? So you have this 10M. How much of it do you need recurrently? How much of it can you forget about and think that I put this money in the bank is gone. So money's gone. Yes. And then based on that is what we will, so whatever, if they feel that they need a recurrent income to come in, then we'll say, okay, that is what you would probably go and do. Put it in our infrastructure bonds and the money market and MMFs and all those things. Whatever you have that you feel, yes, okay, I think maybe 5M I don't see myself requiring it for 10 years or 15 years, is now where we put it into an insurance investment policy, right? Something that the average return on year might be just double digits here and there, but it's compounding, right? So in 6, 7, 8 years, your money is doubled, it's secure. So by the time for a fact that in 10 years' time, this 5M will be at around 10, 11M.
Yeah.
So it's safe, it's something you can count on. Insurance companies, generally, if you invest in them, you can count on them in that sense. Yeah, because they're regulated and they would invest very prudently. So that's how I would look at it. And many a time, as I said, because a lot of these clients of ours have gone through this with us. So it's not a very difficult conversation to have. Yeah. Many of them will just tell you, I want you to do what you did for that person. What you gave him is what I want you to do.
Yeah, it's a referral gift.
Nice. Or what you did or the father will call you and say, whatever we've done for me, now my son has joined, can we start off with him? This is the budget.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sort it out. And that's how generally we do have a sort of a template as well, how we would work with, mental template that we need to get someone this. The other thing that we've started doing quite often, quite aggressively and telling people is, pensions.
Yes.
Invest in your pension. So many people here don't invest in pensions, because first of all, it's not from the government. It's, all this time was NHIF, 200 bob, no one really cared about it. And we are really, really talking to all of our clients about it. And you'll be surprised, so many people who otherwise in everything else in their life they have. They have a good life policy, they have medical insurance, their business is adequately insured.
Yes.
And the first conversation when you have with them about insurance is not on premium, but it's on adequacy of cover.
Yes.
Then let's work backwards and find the cheapest solution to get this done.
Yeah.
Those people, even some of them won't have a pension policy. So that is something we're really, talking to people about right now, that, get into your pensions, do it. It's a small amount.
Yes.
20,000 a month, whatever it is, up to 20,000. 20,000 is one night out.
Yeah.
One weekend, you go
Clear
by
it.
Chupambili, it's gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But yet that means that's your retirement. If you have nothing else, at least you have something to go fall back on.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, how you've felt that and seen the uptake of pension in.
Definitely. I would say, there was an article, I believe, on the BD that literally classified Kenyan retirees amongst the bottom 3 or top 3 amongst the poorest retirees globally. Wow. That is so sad. So yes, if anytime you come to my content, I'm always making a rallying call for, just proper retirement planning.
Yeah.
And also, even just beyond, ensuring that, yes, you've set up that individual pension plan that could even complement your employer-provided pension, and also making that retirement planning more holistic.
Correct.
It's not just a conversation around pension. You also need to ask yourself, so when I retire, what will my post-retirement medical solution, look like? So you start planning for that. Also in that retirement planning for you, as you said, to actually start doing your investments. Because a lot of us sometimes just think retirement planning is all about pension. Then you get there and you realize, oh my Lord, in retirement, what you need at that point is as many sources of passive income that's coming to you. Okay? So starting your investments right now, so that maybe as you get older, you could liquidate part of that portfolio, lock it up maybe in something like a bond, an infrastructure bond, and you're sure every 6 months there's this coupon payment that's coming in, and you can distribute it over the next 6 months, and that is solid income for you. Also, when you're doing your retirement planning, just thinking about, say, your home, retirement home. What will your living conditions look like once you retire? So it's a huge conversation. It even goes into just starting to plan for your inheritance, and also going into estate planning. So just having a holistic approach to retirement planning. So that's something I'm very passionate about because it's true. a lot of us happen to be sandwich generations, Mishaal. I know you don't know what that is, but the reality on the ground for most of us is, we are taking care of our parents, that generation, while at the same time, we are also taking care. We have young families, we have children, we have spouses. So you are stuck in there. And you are really getting drained. So it's my hope that we can be the last generation, like we can be the generation that stops that cycle, where my daughter Daniela does not need, I wouldn't want that little girl to ever have the burden of taking care of me in my old age. Okay, so it's time we end that cycle.
Change it. Okay. We had a question from one of our team members.
Yes, the audience. Yes.
Mine is maybe to even take you back to like the very beginning. I'm trying to understand what's the difference between a broker and an agent, and at what point do I need to speak to who?
Oh wow. We just went right into
Richlands
it.
Insurance
And
Brokers.
it started out as an agency, an agent to a broker. Maybe.
All right, to break it up, there are two different ways of looking at it. The first thing is that an agent, if you're an agent of a company, you can only sell for that company, right? So you're more of a salesperson for that company.
You represent that brand.
Then a broker, I'll come to what a broker is. Okay, so you're a salesperson of that company. However, there are now people who are still agents today who are selling for various companies. So you can become an agent for 5, 6, 10 different companies. So you're having those sole contracts with each of them.
You can become an independent agent.
Yes. Those ones I think still work similarly. The way they work is similar to how a broker would work. Now, on the other side is you're looking at it from a regulatory side of things, right? To be a broker, there are a bit more documents you have to fill and sign. The capital is a bit different. You have to have. There's a bond you have to give to the IRA.
Some good money, very good money.
So those are the things that you can look in on the regulatory side. Brokers are also able to collect premiums on behalf of the
client,
underwriter. Agents, I don't believe, are allowed.
No, we do not collect. We ask you to send directly, pay bill
to the insurance company. Okay.
Yes.
So those are the main differences. And I'll come back. Sorry, your name? Esther. Brokers, also you tend to feel brokers are more representative of the clients than the underwriters. So generally speaking, a client will come to you and say, I have this car, 10 million shillings, I bought a new one, I want insurance, comprehensive. So you already know the market knowledge, right? So you know which underwriters in today's market are most fairly priced. You may have negotiated good prices with some of them, rates with some of them. And also you know which underwriters their claims experiences are good. So you're going to go for that. Cheap is not necessarily best, but you're going to find something that's in between, right? Good priced, but making sure that if there's a claim, your client is taken care of.
Yes. And Esther, if I may just add to that, I aspire to one day get to the level of a broker. So, but I think after today I can call myself Mama Bima Mini Broker. Blessings Mini Broker. So yes, I think that's the eventual goal. At this point, especially when you're starting off, you'll start off maybe as an insurance agent or an insurance agency. But I think the ultimate goal, is hopefully to grow to that size, have that bond that you can just deposit, good money that you can deposit, and get the licensing to be a broker in the market.
Another one.
Okay, another one. I think I better understand that. So this is to Mishaal. So being a third generation insurance broker must come with its own set of expectations and responsibilities. So how do you balance maintaining your family traditions while also staying relevant, especially now the age of tech and AI? So you have the very old clients that you mentioned, but you also have maybe up-and-coming entrepreneurs, business owners?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you strike that balance?
Yeah.
And so, and as you answer that, I know there's a way Muindi businesses have operated. And for some reason, for some reason, they follow that mutaratara all the way. It's almost like don't shift.
Yes.
It worked in 1974. It has worked to date. Please don't change.
Yeah.
So how do you keep tabs with the change in technology, as she's asked?
Yeah. So the first thing is, you have to stay relevant. And that's where it helps for a business to have new blood and new generation come in.
Mm-hmm.
I know when my cousin and I joined the business, there were a lot of parts of the business that were working very well.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's a successful business. But there were a lot of parts of the business that we just felt, well, this is a ticking time bomb. Yeah, we are not doing this right. It's not because the client is suffering, but our systems are outdated, right? We are so analog and things are so funneled and all that. So the first thing is, yes, when you come in, as you've studied up abroad, we are a bit more tech savvy, so we know what we can be able to do. So the first thing is, you try and embrace as much of technology as you can. But at the same time, as you said, if it's not broken, why fix it? Yeah? So you want to have that balance of new age versus wisdom or something that's working. And that is how sort of I feel, especially the first 3-4 years when we joined the business, that's how it was, where of course initially a bit more of push and pull and loggerheads between us and Mzee, but he was open to us coming in with these new ideas and finding ways to do things. And we were also open on the other side to see that, okay, fine, there are things that they have done and he has done that has worked. We cannot just rip it into shreds. So we were able to find and marry these two very nicely. Our new enthusiasm, new technology and wisdom, an experience that has, and there's no substitute to wisdom and experience. There'll be days here today, I get a client, there's a bit of an issue and I'm getting a bit flustered. Talk to my dad and he's like, "Sawa, we'll sort it out. This is how we'll do it." Because they've gone through this 100 times.
Yes.
So to answer your question, you need to find the balance, right? You have to, look at that new tech business that's coming up in Kenya and how you're going to service their needs. They will want an insurance cover in minutes. It's an email. They don't care how you look, where you live. They don't want to know all those small talk. For them, it's pure transactional. And you still have your analog and old school clients who will come, even just for one insurance certificate, will come to the office and spend 25 minutes, have a cup of tea. And that's his way of connecting with you.
I'm guessing that client has been there from 1974. That one you have to sit down and chat.
Of course.
And just be like, you guys have come from so far. You have to walk with it. And I'll actually, for me, and one of the last questions I'll ask is, it is clear that relationships has played a key role into where Mishaal is or where Richlands is to date.
Absolutely.
And it plays a lot in insurance. Insurance has been known as one of those push products where you have to go and have a relationship with a client and sit down and explain. It's not a client coming in and trusting that the brand will take care of them.
Yes.
It is a very relationship-based solution. So I would like to know from your end, how has that been, creating those relationships and maintaining them and maintaining a portfolio all the way from 1974?
I think that has been one of my most enjoyable things. Is actually sitting down and discussing with my clients. Because what happens is you realize that you're actually a problem solver. You're giving solutions to your clients in whatever way it is. Whether it's their business insurance, life, medical, investments, pension, whatever it is. You're giving them a solution. And in order for you to give someone a genuine solution for themselves, you have to understand that person, at least to some level of what is it that you require before I can help you. So that has been something that I've really enjoyed, where first of all, my dad has been a master at that. He can go and, for example, certain social settings here in Nairobi, you go from the car park to your table and from the table back to the car park is 1 hour for him. Yeah, there are 1,000 people he'll meet in, and the same 1,000 people he'll meet on the way out. Yeah,
Yes.
because these people want to talk to him, he wants to talk to them. So I've learned from the best. Yeah, spending time with him, I've learned how to talk to people and understand and find ways of connecting with them. And that, to be honest with you, if you realize, and being a broker, at a certain point is the essence of your business, right? If you connect to your client, they will connect to you. And then it's less of the transactional side of things. But I'm getting 2,000 shillings cheaper next door. You know, we have some, of course, those conversations are there because we are in a tough economy. But it's majority of the time, it's never about, we're never having those conversations with our clients. We're having more about solution-based conversations.
2 last questions, Mishaal, from me. One, if you are to share wisdom with a younger family member, you know, who's being groomed to join the business, what are some of the...
There is one. There must be one.
Yes, of course.
Run.
Run. You know, what are some of the words of wisdom or nuggets that you would want to pass on to them? And number 2, where are you based? Where can we get Richlands? If someone is watching this and is like, I want to work, I want Mishaal, to be my service provider going forward, how can we reach you and where are you based?
Yeah. So I think that the piece of advice I'd give someone who is joining any family business, let's put it that way, right, is you need to find that balance where you don't want to come in and feel like I've studied abroad, I've gone to the UK, the US, Canada, all those places, I've gone and got a degree, a master's, a PhD, whatever it is you've gone and got, and you want to come back into the business and sort of turn the whole place upside down. That will never work. So you need to find a way to respect what you have found. In my case, I had to do that because this was the business that I grew up on.
Yes.
It is the business that paid for my upkeep and my life.
Yes.
And it is the business that paid for my education. Right? So if I feel that I am smarter and I'm better than all of that, then there's a problem. Because there's no way that this business would have been able to do all that for me if it was really that bad. And the other thing is, if it's a family business, you have to also remember you have to respect the family at the end of the day, right? You are not just dealing with business partners and shareholders. This is your brother, sister, cousin, whatever it is, right? So there has to be a way of making sure that you're keeping that in mind, especially when you're making certain business decisions, especially when you're the one in charge, because you don't want to be the one to now feel like you've made a decision for the business and it's gone the wrong way. Then you have people to answer to. So again, coming down to the values, right? You don't want to start going and doing those funny, shady deals because you think you can make 100 million extra, and then you're quamad. So I think that's what I would say. That first of all, respect the business and the whole situation that you're coming into, and number 2, if it's a family business, it's not just a business; it's a family. You have to look at the whole thing. Of course, business is business, family is family, and there has to be a clear demarcation. But at the same time, there's still connection, whether we like it or not. What was the other question? Where can you find me? So our offices in Nairobi are on Mogoshi Road, 26 Mogoshi Road, which is parallel to Muthithi Road. And that's where our offices are, Royal offices on the first floor. And you can reach us on our email is insure@richlands.co.ke. So INSURE@richlands with an S.co.ke, and mobile 0722733093.
Nice.
Fantastic. We'll have the addresses on the screen.
No, sure.
Yes.
Well, thank you. That has been quite something, and I think that for our viewers and even for myself, just getting the perspective, a very different perspective, not just from the fact that it's a broker, an insurance broker, but also the Kenyan Indian perspective. To know that it works. It's not something of last year or 2 years ago. This is something that has been there, is going to be there. There's a clear continuity plan. There's a clear fact that insurance works.
Yes, and personally, I'm so happy to have you on the TBT podcast.
Likewise.
Because you are the face of genuineness, honesty. You have goodwill for your clientele.
Yeah.
And I think it's for our audience. What insurance is a scam. I hope you get now to see the face of insurance players in the market.
Yeah.
Honest people who are there to ensure that the promise they have sold to you is honored. So thank you so much, Mishaal. We are happy to have you on the TBT podcast.
One thing I just want to tell you guys is, I'm so happy you guys have done this. We've had this discussion before. Because we need more people like you guys in this industry. At a penetration of 2 or 3% that we have, we have a whole 90-something% to get to. That means the cake is big enough for all of us.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We don't need to step on each other's feet and try and badmouth each other and say, you're broken in Baya, you're underrated in Baya. No, let us all do it. But the most important thing is for people like yourselves in this who've got skin in the game to demystify this whole thing of insurance. Auto insurance ni waizi. Yeah. Because there are good people. Yes, there are those people as well.
Yeah.
And it's important for us to educate your viewers that you need to find and make sure that you find the right partners.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you will find brokers and agents who are also like on the other side where nikuza tu.
Yeah.
Whether
Yes.
the solution is good for you or not, that's secondary.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you also have other, honest people who will sell you something that's right for you. Maybe the commissions and the premiums are less, but it's the right solution for you, and that they're hoping you will keep coming. So I think what you guys are doing, and it's highly, highly commendable. Please continue doing this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Make
you.
sure that in few years our penetration rate is higher.
Yes.
And that is our goal, Charlene.
Yes, and it's good to see that we are actually in this for the long haul. I mean, if Richlands Insurance Brokers has been here for 50 years, Mama Bima, plus you.
Get ready. Get
5
ready.
years in, but yes, another 45 to go. So yes, thank you.
We are getting there. Thank you. Thank you so much
you.
for joining our Truth Be Told podcast once again. It's been real. Insurance can save your life. Insurance can save your business. Insurance can last. It can be there for long. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure hosting you. My name is Malem Toto Mwanza.
And I'm Charlene Kemara. You may call me Mama Bima Kenya.
And until next time, stay insured.
insured.